Not scared of using its tried and trusted methods instead of reinventing itself after a 5-year absence, Borderlands 3 manages to outdo itself. Refined in-game character movement and aim, a mass amount of challenging enemies, and the biggest array of unique weapons you will easily see in any video game makes this the best by far in a great series of co-op shooter games. The distinctive stylized graphics, off-the-wall humor, and nitro-fueled storyline are all enjoyable in their own right. But what really sets Borderlands 3 apart is the super addictive loot grind that you find yourself partaking in as the hours of gameplay through storyline and side missions unfold. On top of all that, it's an adventure. You may find yourself happily playing again and again with multiple characters and friends. Story-wise, you will find yourself arriving on the familiar planet of Pandora, where you find it's on the verge of collapse as it's been taken over by bandits. Nothing out of the ordinary there. However, this time around, you're not stuck on Pandora. You will be able to travel to several different, but no less exquisite planets. Each planet stands out visually in a way that the series hasn't seen before, though few have mechanics that distinguish them from the rest. Every crevice is overflowing with chests and collectibles that make exploration and looting almost as much fun as combat. You'll use vehicles frequently to get from one place to another due to the expanse of each planet's map. As with the previous titles in the series, vehicular combat is still really clumsy and dull. You need only to fight in one when the mission requires it. In this incarnation of the series, you and a team of up to 4 players can take control of either Mozzie, the gunner, Zane, the operative, Amara, the siren, or Flak, the beastmaster. You'll find that they're a personable bunch. Flak's backhanded compliments are always good for a laugh, and Mozzie's pop culture references during combat come from refreshing, eclectic sources like Ariana Grande and John Wick. They are all fairly standard characters for the Borderlands games at this point, but unlike previous game casts, every class has their characteristics boosted by choice between 3 different action skills selectable at the top of each skill tree, with the exception of Mozzie, as you get to customize her mech's loadout. The cast of supporting characters found in this vast expanse of the cosmos makes for a compelling story arc. Interacting with Rise Strongfork, Katagawa Jr., and Wainwright Jacobs, the figureheads of the Atlas, Malawan, and Jacobs megacorporations, provided a welcome insight to the intricate differences between each weapon manufacturer. It's an excellent mesh of storytelling and gameplay that gives extra depth to the weaponry collected. You will love the fact that Borderlands continues to use playable characters from previous games into major roles. Playing with friends is a better experience thanks to the new ping system that can be used on enemies, items, or the environment to clarify who you think should be shooting what or movement, even if your teammates don't have mics. But the co-op feature that stands out most is the ability to share or trade weapons and other gear after you've used them, since they don't bind to your character after being equipped. Perhaps Borderlands 3's greatest accolade is that it didn't feel repetitive at all, even with multiple hours of gaming. You may find you're waiting for the fast pace at which enemies, weapon archetypes, and missions were introduced to slow to a halt, but they don't. The optional tasks, dished out by the citizens of Pandora and its neighboring planets, are enjoyable and rarely follow a formula that you usually associate with optional tasks. Even more importantly, the diverse and surprising array of weapons absolutely takes this game to another level. Without giving too much away, we came across several new enemy archetypes like the futuristic forces of Malawan and swarms of skittering ratchets. The combat encounters with adversaries are enjoyable, Bandits and Malawan soldiers do a great job of making sure your senses are sharp. In our opinion, the only thing that's hit or miss in Borderlands 3 is the consistency of its boss encounters. The bulk of the boss battles towards the end of the story campaign are great and particularly challenging, even though consistency fails with some of the chaotic mechanics of the individual battles. Borderlands 3 doesn't end with the credits roll. It opens the door to a vast array of game modes for you to start earning all new Guardian ranks, which provide further stat increases like weapon damage and cool effects like increased luck. Not being chained to servers and able to trade weapons is refreshing, but that's not the only reason why this is an amazing first-person shooter. The expanse and diverse weaponry on offer is unmatched. With variety and attention to detail that's packed into the 30-hour campaign is a high point for the series and the genre as a whole. Because Borderlands 3 is a loot grinder shooter that doesn't worry about tomorrow but lives for the now, we're hoping for Borderlands 4. We have thoroughly enjoyed Borderlands 3 from Gearbox and give it a solid 9 out of 10.